Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022, the U.S. Open Picks, Bets, Preview, one and done, the most ANDERCURSED players of the week. Hit the time codes. You want to jump to the spot that you want to know. But I got to tell you about said giveaways that are going on. You can get into the draw for. I've even added to this. And the more people that do this, the more money I'll add. So we need ratings and reviews for the audio podcast. I don't care if you don't subscribe to the show. I mean, I do. I would prefer that you subscribe, download, even if you don't listen. But leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, 5 stars, something you enjoy about the show, and your Twitter handle or email address so I can contact you if you're a winner. That gives you 10 ballots into the draw. Every time that you share or retweet one of the Pat Mayo Experience shows, one of the articles, the newsletters, no matter what it is, that's 1 point. But you can do that as many times as you want. So like 100 retweets, 100 ballots into the giveaway. And then we have, what's the other one? Subscribe to the newsletter or subscribe to Mayo Media Network on YouTube. That's worth 5 ballots apiece. You can find all of that information down in the description, all free to do. So please help us out. That is how we end up growing the show, getting it in front of more people, is with your help. And in exchange, I'm going to stake one person the $200 single entry, or just give you $200, whichever you prefer. And then we're up to two $100 Millionaire Maker tickets on DraftKings, or you can just have the $100. Either way, the more we get another 50 reviews, I'll up it by another 100. We get 100 more reviews, boom, I'll up it another 100 after that. So the more we can do this, the more people that watch, the more money is going back into your pockets. So please help us out. All this information will be in the newsletter as well. One's coming out every night. Hit the description and click on it for free. Gets sent right to you with additional information. The PME Listeners League on DraftKings is almost half full already. $90,000 guaranteed of rake-free money. 3,000 spots left. Link is in the description. 3 max entry, $15 to play. Let's go fill that up as quickly as possible. Geoff Fienberg is on the line. We got a duel this week, sir. We both parlayed Rory with people to win the U.S. Open. So I have Rory parlayed with Rory to win. You have Rory parlayed with Rahm to win. It's nice to hit a winner every now and then. I forgot what it was like.
You actually hit a winner. I, came up in a second again with Finau, and I'm more upset, Pat, that I am more disappointed to not have accompanied my Rory Canada Open Rahm US Open double with a Rory Canada Open Rory US Open double. I don't know why I didn't make both. Because once I make the first one, like Rory winning the first one means he's so primed to win the second. I am more mad that I did not make that matching double than I am that I did not cash a 10-1 ticket. Like, it's annoying, but I had a lot of fun cheering for Rory yesterday, despite having Finau money. And in the end, you can find the strokes, but Rory gave away a couple also. Just a marvelous scene. St. George's, Golf Canada, RBC, the PGA Tour. Credit. And look forward to Rory coming for the three-peat next year. So fire it up. And now we got a bigger national championship to hand out.
Yes, a major championship. If you want to run all the stats, all the simulations, the model, generate your lineups, look at all the odds, and do your own in-depth research, it's easy stuff. FantasyNational.com/Mayo gets you 20% off any membership level. Highly suggest that you go check that out now. All the odds today are provided by DraftKingsSportsbook.com, so we can try to find some winners on this list. We know that I've already made a few wagers to date, so has Geoff, and let's just hope that they are not going to be cursed, because we need to bring in the man whose information we need to get right away to figure out who we need to fade and who we need to go on, and it's his birthday, so happy birthday to Tim ANDERCURSED.
Tim ANDERCURSED.
That's not my name.
But it is your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Geoff,
Happy birthday. I did not know. We've just been chatting.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I mean, I would never forget that yours is December 20th, but you've forgotten mine. That's okay.
Shots fired already.
I don't have Facebook, so I don't get reminders.
Fair.
And people will give credit for knowing the birthday. It's just the Facebook reminding them. But you remembered. I did not. You are better than I. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Enjoy it. 2 Egg McMuffins for $5, right?
It's such a deal. Oh, my goodness. The chicken McMuffin. I should tell people, we were talking about the Nashville Hot the other day. I tried the Nashville Hot. Excellent. Just excellent. I got it at Burger King. I couldn't more highly approve of it. It's been like this new I know it's been around for a while, but it's a fad now in Canada where it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's a Nashville Hot, this, that, or the other. So I broke down to temptation and was encouraged to get it too, for that matter. And I got it, and it was delicious, and it's great. And I give it my full endorsement.
Well, the next person who has watched this show or listened to this show and goes and gets a Nashville Hot is going to get like food poisoning or something like that now. So beware, people out there. I don't know, Jeff, because it's his birthday, does that mean whoever he picks this week is actually going to win?
Hadn't really thought about the history of his birthday and a flag plant, self-proclaimed big game hunter going, 6-7 years without a big game W.
Depends how you count them.
We shall see.
All right. Well, you usually come up with 3 players that you like to curse or pick, as you like to call it, to win the major championship. So let's hear them in reverse order. We're not going to go memento style here. It's not going to be like 2-1-3. We're going to go 3-2-1 from least confident to most confident picks for the U.S. Open at the Country Club.
Okay, so least confident, but one of my top 3 is a rebound from what happened at Southern Hills. I really like Mito Pereira this week.
Oh no, poor Mito.
We've seen this in the past where guys struggle at one major and bounce right back and come back to win. And I think that is what's likely to happen here. Mito's got a good game. He is solid. He's a marvelous ball striker. I think this is a course he should do well at. I don't think very many people at all are going to pick him. You should have him on your DK team. I certainly will. I like Mito a lot this week.
So as a reminder to everyone out there, you can play in the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. That is down in the description. It's rake free. It's almost half full already of the 6,000 spots. So you best get on that right away. Jeff, on DraftKings Sportsbook today, Mito Pereira is currently 45-1 to win the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I think you got to try to find the next Mito or this week's Mito, because Mito's, that
doesn't happen at the U.S. Open. Outside of the odd, weird
Woodland.
Martin Keimer year.
Yeah, but
Woodland was higher ranked than Keimer was.
Hold on. Martin Keimer became the number 1 player in the world after he won the U.S. Open. He had just won the Players' Championship.
Yeah, but Woodland was on an upswing in his career, where Keimer was not on the upswing of his career, right? Like, he had won back in 2010. And so, people... Anyway, my point is, the cream usually rises to the top at this tournament above all others. This is the tournament you're least likely to see a weird winner. You see guys who are weird sort of come really close, finish in the top 5. I mean, if you're playing each way, it's going after really, really deep plays. Makes a lot of sense. But you don't usually see that person win this golf tournament. So I wouldn't be picking anybody super deep to win this thing. I think the tournament probably begins at 50-1. And if you go deeper than that, I think, unless you're playing each way, you have no chance to win your bet.
I was wrong about that. He became the 11th ranked player in the world after his win. He entered the week the world's number 27 player, Martin Keimer, which is far higher than Gary Woodland did last year.
And the only way that people made money on him was by doing the roulette game and getting him at a fantastic odds. Like, people weren't talking about Martin Keimer was a surprise winner that week at Pinehurst.
I did hit him in the Pinata pick. That was fun.
That's great.
I don't even remember being happy that I got him in the Pinata pick until he started the tournament at like a firecracker. It's like, oh, I have a bet on Martin Keimer.
I remember we were really leveraged on Reed that week, and Reed had a good week. Just Keimer blew everyone out.
Yeah, he and Eric Compton were untouchable that week.
Oh, Eric Compton.
Straight out of, yeah. We got so many heart surgery vignettes that week.
Well, the whole Sunday was just complete, he was up by 8 strokes, and it was never competitive.
So you got Mito. You've cursed poor Mito. He was available at 100-1 over the weekend. He's now dropped to 45-1. So maybe he'll end up drifting back down a little bit here now that Tim has picked him as his 3rd pick. Who's your 2nd pick?
Sungjae Im is my 2nd.
Oh, no! Fuck off!
I really like Sungjae this week.
It's your birthday.
I just really like Sungjae Im. I think he's a reason to play this.
Give me 3 reasons why you like him, other than Jeff and I have already fucking bet him.
Pardon me?
I bet so much money on a guy at that number. It's one of my biggest bets ever at a number that big.
Okay. I think he's a marvelous player. If you look at his recent form, I mean, let's think about it, right? I mean, he is 15th in the FedEx Cup,
Okay.
FedEx Cup.
which I think is pretty important. He's in the top 25 in the official world golf rankings, and I'm getting him at 40-1. I think those are pretty reasonably good odds. He's a very good player. What's wrong with taking him? I mean, what is he? When you look at his stats, he is 5th strokes gained around the green. How do you win U.S. Opens? You hit the ball long and you play well around the green. Sungjae Im plays marvelously. Very, very few can play as well as he does around the green.
Sungjae Im, not long. He is field average in distance.
That's right. He's not super long, but strokes gained off the tee, top 15 in the PGA. Strokes gained around the green, top 5, and tee to green, he's top 10. A lot of the metrics should like Sungjae Im at a U.S. Open championship, and I'm going to take him for those reasons.
Geoff, this is not good news. I can't even cash that bet out. Viewers of the show are going to be very upset because they've all bet on Sungjae already.
Well, too bad. I mean, do people want me to not give my real picks? Like, is that what they'd like?
Pat,
Yeah?
here's the thing. Like, if we wanted to do this, just putting it out there, at what his current number is, you could technically, if you wanted to, sell your wager and still make money if he won.
I think at what we have to pray for at this point, Tim's the birthday boy. Maybe he gets one this time around. Listen, I would never be happier than Tim being correct about this. The odds are not in our favor with this one.
I'd let him victory lap it forever.
You know
I
what?
would.
As someone who's pretty highly invested in the each way part of this with the top 5, I mean, this is setting up for Sungjae up by 3 on the 18th hole and losing by 1. At least I'll get my top 5 cash out. All right.
I've laid out my case. There's a numbers game for it. So
Yeah, 15th in the FedEx Cup. Okay, next.
Well, no, I gave a bunch of other statistics, but of course you remember that. But anyway.
That's what you... Okay, when you make arguments, for example, you generally lead with the good stuff. What did you lead with?
They're all good arguments. He is top 15 in FedEx Cup points. I'm sorry, those points are awarded arbitrarily. Here, you have some points. Here, you have some points.
Here, you played pretty well last September. Here's some points.
Do you know how flawed that system is? The point distribution is one of the biggest problems with the PGA Tour because field strength goes nothing into what the points are, and they don't want to disrespect a city or a sponsor, or they don't want to decrease the chance of good players coming by decreasing point totals for events. So they keep them at most of them at a stationary level, and it creates such an imbalance that it is one of the most imperfect systems for truly weighting a player, if you must know.
Well, and you're right. If that were the only argument upon which to hang something, I would sort of agree with you. But then I gave you a bunch of other stats, and
which I all agree with. God damn it!
Of course, he makes sense here. We'll see how it turns out, but he makes a lot of sense at this golf.
Perfect.
And like, I'm not supposed. You want me to come on here and lie and say the people that I like or don't like based on who you bet? Like,
Pat, you know what the fucking
must have
problem
perfect
is?
freedom with my conscience to say.
The goddamn problem is we lost fucking Louis.
I know. Well, Louis here.
We lost Louis.
Maybe, just maybe, unless he's Tim's like lock of the week.
He is not.
Maybe it's finally Louis time, Geoff.
Well, we could deep dive that, but I'm just saying, like, we lost Tim's hero, so he had to go fishing and took our guy.
Who's your number one? Who are you going at with the top of the board here? Because this we need to know.
Morikawa. He's my one and done. Wow. Picking him to win.
That's a personal attack. And you know it.
I'm laughing at that one.
Well, I just looked on my one and done board this morning of who I had left, and it was between him and Rahm. And I was
and you're taking Morikawa, not Rahm.
And I just feel like more people will have Rahm, and Morikawa is a bit.
What does your one and done have to do with the purposes of literally just picking your number one pick to win? We're not asking.
Well, yeah, but I'm also considering my one and done as well.
Why? So anyone you've used already this year, like you've already used Sungjae, for example, this year, should he be on your list?
Well, they can't be my number. I don't want them to be my number one pick unless I'm boxed into it. And I don't know. I like Morikawa, and this is a contrarian play. This is a total contrarian play. It's just I looked at him and went, you know what? I could totally see him winning this tournament, even though I know he's not the odds wouldn't like him nearly as much as a lot of the other top guys. I don't know. I have a hunch, and I'm going to play that hunch. I'm actually less confident in him than I am in him, to be perfectly honest with you. But I wanted to take one top tier guy and two middle tier guys, and so that's where I am.
Jeff.
You know, in fact, this is weird. Can I reverse the order? Maybe I'll reverse the order.
You're making Sung Jae your favorite?
I'm actually going to make Morikawa, who's the shorter odd, which I never do this. I'm going to make him second. And I'm going to make Sanjay first.
Why?
Because I feel that much more confident in Sanjay, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh my god!
I was
that's
just
what I'm gonna
feeling
do.
a sense of minor relief.
No, I'm gonna now transpose them.
Did you just make these picks to just fuck with me? Is that what you're doing?
No.
These were like the three guys I wanted to bet. Good God.
Well, I mean, I've been talking about Mito Pereira since
For
May.
2 weeks?
Yeah. Since the PGA Championship.
Yeah, Mito Pereira when you thought he was fucking Minwoo Lee?
Well, that's because I'd gotten bad advice from somebody. But anyway, you can't. If you want to complain about Pereira, that's foolish because you knew that was coming down the pike for quite some time.
Well, you were trolling me on the weekend saying you were going to take Luke List.
Well, I considered taking Luke List because Jeff sort of talked me into Luke List in our little group thread. And Luke List was on my list of people that I sort of liked. But he didn't make it. So
I
he's
mean,
on a...
Yeah, we'll get there triple digits, but just long, straight, maybe
Yes.
can miss some putts. I don't know. Luke List, we're losing.
He's logical. He's logical, even though I wouldn't pick him. He's logical.
So Morikawa is currently 30-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook. Sungjae is 40-1, and Mito is 45-1. That's what you're looking at this week in terms of Tim's three picks. And Jeff, I do believe that this is just going to solidify it. This is what I was waiting for. I wrote about this in my newsletter last night. That maybe this is something that I'm not made of stone. They're going to put a 40 next to Morikawa's name at some point this week, and I'm going to be like, that's an auto bet, and then he's going to be cursed. And it's not going to be any good.
Well, forewarned is forearmed then. You know where I am on these things.
I like that you took him out of your one spot, though. That gives me more confidence.
Yeah, the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? As we were chatting about it, I was like, I just feel more confident in him.
This is my fault.
Like, and as Jeff said, Im is perfect for this course. So.
See, I used that P word, and I fucked myself.
And then we talked about the credit I'd get if I got him right.
I made a bad situation worse.
And then you talked about the credit I'd get if him won. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just pitch all in with this. It seems like the way to go.
Dave Tyndall, who I adore on Twitter, does that great lead-up trends piece. And Sungjae popped in his 10-year trends piece as the winner for this event. And, you know, Pat's been talking about it for a couple weeks now. Totally, like, it took 20 seconds of a conversation to make me see the light. Quite annoyed that Tim has seen this light, though.
Well, it's going to be tough for Morikawa to win. He's only 20th in the FedEx Cup standings, Jeff. So. FedEx Cup standings. Oh, Mito's 27th. It's going to be tough for him. He's behind Seamus Power. That's a tough look. All right. Before we let you out of here, everyone should go wish Tim Andercust a happy birthday at Tim Anderson, 87. But what is the best outcome for golf here? Because I feel like the PGA got its best outcome on Sunday with Rory winning in a group with Finau and Justin Thomas. The crowd was electric. It looked great on TV. It was the best outcome that they could have had for what could happen at the Canadian Open. Not for the PGA Tour, Jeff, necessarily, but for golf in general. I have the undisputed number one winner of the U.S. Open that would just make golf fun for like 3 weeks.
Well, I'll give you the floor on that because I know who you're going to say, but it's any of the 9-figure men.
But there's specific guys. If somehow Phil wins the U.S. Open and completes the Grand Slam after all of this, like people will go into full meltdown mode, right, Tim?
I think it will be a very, very extraordinary day on Twitter and in the golf community. But I mean, that seems so unlikely given the amount of miracles that had to flip correctly for him to win at Kiowa. You're right. Like,
hold on, Paul has something to say. Paul, you want to chime in here?
I just want Tim's official reaction to him removing Phil from his banner.
Well, I just removed him because, like, I'm not cheering against him, but I don't feel like supporting him either. So I felt like, you know what? I'm just not going to have him on my banner. Like, I'm not wishing him ill by any means. I just don't wish him well. Like, just whatever. It is what it is sort of thing. But it will be nice for people to watch Phil and Dustin again because more people are going to download and delete this podcast than watched a second of Live Golf on Friday.
How many people do you think were on the stream, the YouTube stream on Friday for the Live?
43,000.
It was 90.
That's what the New York Post report that there were 43,000 people.
I was on the video when it said 98,000. So
okay,
that's
well,
wrong.
the New York Post reported 43,000 people watched Live Golf on Friday.
Well, that's Jeff. You were on the feed too. Is that right or wrong?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't on.
That's what the Action Network reported. That's what the New York Post reported.
That's fine because you could have tuned into it and seen the live
I watched a little
viewers.
on Thursday. That was enough for me. I didn't care to see it. Like, I'm more into the conversations about it.
Although I do see they took their desire to put together leaderboards graphics from the PGA because it's indecipherable.
Yes, it is. It looked like a weird esports type leaderboard.
It was like that year. It was like that year Monday Night Football played around with the ticker and wrote like weird things down for the team names. Like you look at that and go, I don't know what this is. Like,
but Pat,
Yeah.
does Phil need to win? Like, could it just be Phil in the final group on Saturday night?
Phil in Kintea, but if Phil wins, like now there's like a referendum. Like, oh, is the Live Tour at they have the US Open champion? Like, it's just the shitstorm is coming. If I think in the power rankings of how this works, it's Phil.
So Sergio ahead of DJ even then?
No, Sergio is
For humor?
For humor's sake, sure. But I don't even like people hate Sergio enough already that it doesn't matter that he's on the Live Tour. People will just be mad that Sergio won regardless. Especially being just outside of Boston. You know how badly Sergio, I mean, I don't even think Poulter's playing, but those two guys in particular as Euros just get heckled to no end in the Northeast from any either Ryder Cup, major championship that we've seen over the past 15 years. I think the power rankings are Phil, Bryson, DJ. Those are the three. Like, I don't think people don't, it's like Reed. People don't like Reed. They'd be mad if he won anyway. But for like story-wise, Phil winning this and being the face of all this would just set people off.
or sure it would, but I mean, let's imagine one of those guys lose in a playoff or by a stroke to Spieth or to Thomas or McIlroy. That makes a fantastic story too.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't make a fantastic story.
I think Phil getting there and losing by a stroke to Rory is like a win too.
100%. Like, that's great, but that's the positive outcome for the PGA Tour. What I'm saying, like,
no, I'm just talking about golf in general. I don't hold brief for the PGA Tour either. That would be really good for golf too. That would generate a lot of interesting stories and would like really put things into hyperdrive for St. Andrews. Like, I think that what you described is correct, but the other way is also just as good for golf.
No, because then you have Phil going on like the talk show circuit. Like, put it this way: if Spieth beats Phil in a playoff at the U.S. Open, it leads Pete, unless there's an NBA final, unless the NBA Finals wraps up that night. But in terms of what's going on in sports, that's A block number one. They talk about it for 5 minutes, they move on. If Phil wins, it's the A block, but then you get like the C block, and then the end of the D block stories about Phil as well. What does this mean? Like, there's more of a think piece argument. People continue to talk about it, where if he loses, like, oh yeah, Spieth won, great.
I think you're right about Phil. I think that's less true of anybody else. Even DJ, I think, would be less. I think Phil being so much more famous than all those guys, and so much more important to golf, makes a difference there. Bryson
is, I think it's Phil, Gap, Bryson, Gap, DJ, Gap, the rest of them.
I agree with you.
So that means Louis going to win, Jeff.
He's a staple. Oh, I don't know the last. Yeah, he's a staple for Timmy Majors.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing he's good at, it's getting close and then throwing away majors. So maybe he'll do that at the country club as well. Seems like there's going to be lots of opportunity to do so, because I saw that YouTube video, that Twitter video everyone sees of the rough and how thick it is.
You don't think that the rough is going to be thick?
Yes, I do. But we see it everywhere. We even saw it at Erin Hills the year that it basically was a Quad Cities tournament at the U.S. Open. They talked about how thick the rough was.
Well, the rough was incredibly thick. The problem was that there was no wind. Well, they did mow it, but the rough never played a factor because no one hit it into the rough.
Yeah, well, that's fair too. And you don't know when at least some of the videos I saw, you have no idea where that rough is vis-a-vis the primary cut. So like, if it's like 30 or 40 yards offline, I'm not as interested as if it's like 4 feet off the fairway sort of thing.
Well, Rick Gaiman will be on the show on Tuesday evening. He will be at the country club, so he'll have a report live from the scene to tell us what's going on. Remember to subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience and do all the fun giveaway stuff for that. Do you have any final thoughts on the 122nd U.S. Open before we let you go?
we got to get who's dead. Like who's dead money. That's not live. Like because that's a bias. Like who am I burning money on? Geoff.
I mean, I think of the top tier guys, and who I really don't like Rory this week.
Oh, good news for Geoff. Me and you have the Rory.
We saw it yesterday. He tried to give it away again. He started when Rory gets nervous, he misses left. That's his move.
So
he
came
started
to a tie,
doing that,
and then he pulled away and won.
No, but he had a chance to put that thing away, be up like 4 strokes.
But doesn't it show you
he couldn't? Like he's still. Oh, look, he's a marvelous golfer. But like you saw, it was the Canadian Open, and there was somebody pressuring him, and he missed a little bit. And anyway, so Rory hasn't won a major in 8 years, and it's been a heck of a dry spell. And he just won, and I don't see him winning this week after what I think he really was. Look, he was delighted to have won yesterday. No one in the world was happier to mention that he had gotten his 21st win yesterday than him. Like, and all power to him. I think he really likes the Canadian Open. I think he's going to be a staple at that event. I think it means a lot to him to have won. And just, I don't know, to then jump on a plane, head down to Boston and do it all over again. I don't know. I feel like I would be moving away from Rory this week. And that's not a slight against. And that's not a slight against
what guys are doing after they win lately.
That's not a slight against. Well, okay, that's not a slight against Rory. Well, yeah, because Scheffler wins every other week. That's why. Like he takes Scheffler and Burns out of it. So I don't really like him this much this week. I don't like Louis this week. And again, it's not no play against him in terms of like live. Like I said, my position on that is that I neither like nor dislike those players who make that decision. I'm not going to get into that. I just don't think Louis is going to have a very good week. I think this is a tough golf course for him. So I don't like him either.
And do you have a third to add to that list?
Webb Simpson. I know he's super deep, but Webb Simpson's form is completely terrible. For a player who should be a lot better than he is, Webb Simpson's form has been so off. I don't see him catching fire. It's too bad. I like Webb, but it's too bad.
Injuries will catch up to you. He's not quite completely recovered as of yet.
No, he's not. And, he won this tournament, believe it or not, 10 years ago. It seems impossible that he won it 10 years ago.
It seems like 30 years ago that he won the U.S. Open.
Well, see, to me, it feels like a lot less than that. But anyway, he won it 10 years ago against Jim Furyk, who I also noticed is in this field somehow.
He won the senior PGA.
Yeah.
Senior U.S. Open, sorry.
Wouldn't that be great to see him play well?
Sure.
But anyway, yeah.
Fantastic.
And I saw Dick Bland is in this tournament too, which, good luck to him too.
Oh, so you're pro LIV Dick Bland.
No, I'm not. I've said I'm not pro or anti any of these players. Each week I go, who do I think is going to play well? I'm not going to take a bias on it. My personal views aside, I'm trying to cap what I think is going to happen at the event. I think Dick Bland could play pretty decently. He did play pretty well at Torrey Pines.
By cap, you just mean cap. You don't actually mean bet, right?
I mean to provide for the viewers what I think is going to happen and how it affects my DraftKings team.
So Morikawa is your one and done selection?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Paul, you had a question.
Is there going to be a hole in one or nah?
Okay.
Oh, thank you for asking. We're getting plus money on the no hole in one here. In 1988, there were no holes in one at the country club. Between 2000 and I believe 2015 and 2018, there were no holes in one. I'm pretty sure we had no hole in one at Torrey, but we had a couple at Winged Foot and 1 or 2 at Pebble. So I don't know. There seems like there's one short par 3 here, the 150-yard. That would be the hole that's going to happen on it. If it happens, the other ones don't seem to be on the cards for holes in one. It's supposed to be, as I've been hearing, it's supposed to be windy. It's supposed to be rainy. I don't like its chances. So you're getting plus 105 on DraftKings Sportsbook to bet no holes in one. I think that's the way to play this.
Do you have any specific player that you think if they were to make a hole in one, who would it be? Because I'm looking at the odds for that right now. They're not great odds, by the way.
Well, it would have to be a luck sack. So like,
Spieth?
I don't know. Yeah, Spieth,
Zalatoris. Oh, they're both. How is Zalatoris a luck? He's like
Cameron. Smith.
I would say that Will Zalatoris is like the anti-luck sack type player.
Okay, Cam Smith.
Cam Smith currently, they're all 125 to 1 to have a hole in one this week.
That seems like the sort of people that would do that.
Bryson hole in one. Joseph Brown. Oh, you can pick Ben Lorenz. He's only 180 to 1. Good God, these are horrible odds. Anyway, I appreciate you coming on and telling us who's going to win and who's going to perform poorly. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. But once again, happy birthday to Tim Undercust.
Tim Andercurced.
Jeff, I'm not feeling great about my wagers at the moment.
I should have just shut up instead of making a bad situation worse. Because I'll be honest, a part of me felt a bit of relief when he went to the top with Morikawa. You might have heard me giggling. I know that bugged a lot of people. And I just had to open my mouth, and he flopped Sungjae to the top. Just a horrible turn of events. Although I am excited when we get to the triple digits, because he did leave someone out, and maybe there's a lane, but it's the goddamn U.S. Open. I don't know what to make of what we just heard. I have always, people come up to me in person, Pat. I was at a Five Guys. It's beside my rehab. Gets expensive. Rehab plus Five Guys. Sitting there, LPGA shirt, Chargers hat, a cane. I'm a cripple. Fan of the show comes up to me because I wasn't sure it was you, but LPGA shirt, Chargers hat, walking like a cripple. I'm an easy mark. First question: is Tim real? If you're being fooled, I've been fooled ever since I've met both of you. Like, that's my response. They've pulled the rug on me if it's a joke. This is one of the first times I literally feel like I'm truly being trolled out of a golf segment with that trifecta of picks.
I even took him out for his birthday on the weekend. He turns around and just, not even in the back. I appreciate that he came on the show to stab me right in the fucking eye or whatever it was. Oh my God. Hopefully he's right. I'm just crossing my fingers. Hopefully he's right for once, and this all works out fine. This is going to throw a real wrench into the DraftKings picks for a lot of people, I'm sure, about that. Especially you said someone came up and met you. Garion was in Detroit at the Tigers game this week, and shout out to fan Richard Dowswell. Was like, hey, it's Garion Thorne. Let's get a picture. Like, I couldn't imagine being out in public, seeing Garion and being like, I need to get a picture with that guy. Nah. I mean, I love Garion, but I don't need pictures with him.
Power of Mayo Media, my man.
Yeah, we got the reach. We got people who live near Jeff and people live in adjacent cities to Jeff watch the show. So thank you all. And remember to get in those giveaways, by the way. The newsletter, I don't want to repeat them because I don't want to take up too much time during the show, but that would be nice anyway. If you could do that, do us a solid. Help us out there. The favorites this week, Jeff. Rory, after winning, is now the favorite at DraftKings Sportsbook by 2 points. He's 10 to 1. Thomas and Rahm are 12. Scheffler is 14. Xander is 16. Cantlay 20. Cam Smith 22. Spieth 28. DJ 28. And then you have Fitzpatrick, Zalatoris, Morikawa all in at 30 to 1. History says that one of these guys is probably going to win. Somewhere, Tim was right. Below 40 to 1 has been the wheelhouse outside of Gary Woodland, who you hit at Pebble Beach. Congratulations to that. But Brooks, DJ, Bryson. Who do we have last year who ended up winning this thing?
Rahm.
Yeah.
Like it is, you go back to pretty much once we've been out of Chambers Bay, it's been Spieth, DJ, Brooks, Woodland, Bryson, Rahm. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. They all have a profile. As we started doing shows years ago, it was I'm betting Dustin Johnson or I'm betting guys that are a poor man's version of Dustin Johnson. And I'll be honest, I don't think much has changed other than I don't think I'm betting Dustin Johnson. I don't care what competition in the marketplace tease that one up for me. But yeah, and as we've started doing the show, Pat, seems like every young golfer that comes on tour does what Dustin Johnson did, except they're much more refined around the greens, way younger than it took Dustin Johnson. So there's a prototype to U.S. Opens. On top of that, it's long. It's long is key, but long and straight might be a bit of a misnomer when you look at who's winning. They're not exactly having to be the straightest drivers in the world. They're just the best among the best total drivers of the world in the world.
I put it in the newsletter last night. I had my adjusted total driving rankings. Essentially what it was was driving distance weighted at 60%, accuracy weighted at 40%, because just the names that we reeled off who've won the U.S. Open, even when it was at Pebble Beach, and it was a shorter course, like, wow, well, driving distance isn't going to make a difference. Yeah, it did. Go look at the leaderboard. It was Chez Reavie and a bunch of guys who bomb it. So that's just the way that the USGA is set up. Driving is the most important thing this week, because and these are very narrow fairways at the country club, so everyone's going to miss fairways. The one kind of reverse to that is at Winged Foot, it was very much the same way. The difference here being all these greens are protected. So what Bryson and Wolf were able to do, hacking it out with wedges, bumping and running it up onto the green, and just getting some roll, that's not going to happen this week. Those are going to end up in the rough, the water, or the sand trap. So that bomb and gouge isn't necessarily the best idea. However, the recovery shots are just much easier when you're closer to the hole regard. If everyone has to hack out sideways to get back onto the fairway, I'd rather hit the ball 345 and hack back into the fairway rather than 280 and hack back into the fairway, because then that third shot becomes a little bit easier. I have the Rory
double into play.
Yeah, like I have a Rory double this week, so if Rory wins, I'm set up for a while here. It's gonna turn the losing golf season to a winning golf season pretty quickly. But what he was able to do with those sawed-off wedges at the Canadian Open in the final round, we know Justin Thomas is good at that already. This has been the one thing that's been holding back Rory for the longest time, and he was lights out from like 100 and in, and we so rarely see that. And when guys miss this week, that's gonna be the shot that saves their ass on these little tiny greens. You need to be able to stick it and get it up and down from 100, 115, 78 yards, and not leave yourself with a 16-footer. You need to leave yourself with the 5-footer, the 6-footer, and make them if you want to stay competitive this week. Because no one's going to hit 100% of the fairways. They're going to have to be hacking out at some point. Can you recover? And I was actually going to be like really down on Rory until I saw this. I was like, well, this is exactly what he needs to do. And now he's the betting favorite. Like, I'm not going to objectively bet Rory this week at 10-1. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to go to that high on the board. But it's nice to have the double lingering out there, and it's kind of terrifying now that he's the biggest detriment to his success in his game. I don't know if it's solved, but at least for 1 week it was solved.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Other than his chipping, it's Thursday. So if he survives Thursday, man, you could make him 2-1. I mean it. I joked on Twitter last night. What a great feeling. I wasn't one of them. I like you have a double. Oh my God, if I had the 2 doubles, I wouldn't even have to, I could just walk off the show. Have Rory and Rahm doubles at the U.S. Open. Could even just bet JT at 12-1 and say, I'm done here. Rah! Oh my God, I wish I could have been in that world. But to be those people who, and woe is me, I got Rahm 220-1. That guy's crying. Shut up, Fienberg. To be the people that bet Rory like straight cash homie,
like me,
hit their 10-1 on the weekend,
thank you,
and then got to watch golf Twitter at the Canadian Open, hit their 10-1, and then got to watch golf Twitter just hand him a U.S. Open at 10-1. Must have been a great feeling. Credit to all of you guys. Props. Again, it's hard to have seen anything Rory and not just sort of enjoyed the moment, even as a golf fan.
But here's the thing. Rory and Thomas are now overvalued for where they need to be. Maybe they're properly valued. I think that they're somewhat overvalued with all the steam coming in on them. Everyone just watch them. The guy whose number I am watching like a hawk this week, because what did it take? A month for Scotty Scheffler not to be the best player in the world anymore? Even though he is. And he had a fine week in Canada. He lost strokes putting. I think he was like 12th tee to green, something like that. Like, he's probably going to win this week. I see him at 14-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook. I saw a 16 out there at another place. I think you might be able to nab him at 18, maybe a boost up to 20 at some point.
Maybe a boost.
And that's where I want my money this week. I want it on Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, maybe a boost. Maybe the boost. The winning score is going to be what history is probably going to tell us. You like that guy? He's going to make par from 110 out, 120 out, frustrate the shit out of everyone who doesn't.
You hit on it right there, and that's the thing.
You already hit on it.
Well,
We've spoken about it a lot at these grueling, layouts. It is that ability to give yourself a chance at par when you hack out sideways.
And the biggest thing is, we just talked about Rory. It's like, oh, Rory was able to do that. That's fantastic. But that's been Rory's biggest drawback. Like, can he just translate that over into this week? I don't know. Maybe he can. You know who I know is able to do that? Scotty Scheffler.
I'm also able to know Justin Thomas can do that. And if I had to come in clean right now of Rory or JT, actually might trust JT a little bit. That's it. It's even if it's a slight thing, I actually think JT is. What am I telling anyone listening to this show? I would lean JT potentially there over of the big three, I guess, which doesn't include Rom for some reason. But maybe Rom even takes a nice bigger boost this week, Pat.
Potentially. I saw he was boosted up to, you can find him as deep as 15 in some spots currently. I saw him boosted up to 18 at various points over the weekend. Let's drop down to this.
He's currently sitting at a 17 on just an enhanced win.
Yeah. That's actually 15 to 1 now because that ended up going back down. I think enough people betted on the enhanced win. But
when you truly do break down U.S. Open profile, are there 5 players?
Are there 4 players? Are there 5 players? Jeff is now frozen.
Oh, right, because we've been to other majors. Yeah, these 4, I would agree, are these are the 4 that deserve to be under 20 to 1. No one else does.
Right, well, Xander at DraftKings Sportsbook is 16 to 1. Now, I have a theory about Xander because he has never finished worse than 7th in any U.S. Open. That's great. Does he fit the profile of really boring major championship winners that we've seen this year? Like the no personality winners.
He does. I'm a loser you wonder why the numbers are the numbers because, well, there's maybe people out there that have bet it, Pat. I'm a loser that is staring at it.
I see a 20. I see a 24. I see a 24 for you if you need that.
Yeah, and I could even take my shirt off and give you a 25.
Ooh, do it.
If I wanted to. Replicate a polar bear.
Let's see it.
But I don't know. Jeez, is Xander. But it's just so boring. And the winning score feels, I'm going to say this a lot. Because the golfers I trust enough to get to hang around, to throw the punches, to keep themselves into the U.S. Open winning score when history shows us so few players are still even able to do that. I am one of the people that trust Xander and am considering betting him. And
I am not considering
number I bet this week.
I'm not considering betting him because I think I am most definitely going to bet Scheffler. It's just, what is that number going to be? Is it going to be 15 to 1? Is it going to be 17 to 1? Is it going to be 19 to 1? Because it feels like there's only so many people that you can bet from the top of the board. And everyone wants to bet Rory. Everyone wants to bet Justin Thomas. This we know. So those other guys are going to move down the board a little bit, at least in my mind. But 15 is a good enough number for me to get in on Scheffler of where he's at the moment. And this next level down, especially with the draft,
I would hold out for the boost.
Yeah, I am going to hold out. But if it gets Wednesday night and there is no boost, I'll bet the 15. That's fine.
I agree, but I'm saying there's a better chance it gets to 18 than it does to 14, in my opinion, with the love affair you have mentioned. With what's happening with the 2 at the very, very top.
Agreed. I think Xander Schauffele is a better DraftKings play than he is an outright bet. Doesn't mean he can't win, but I just think that he's going to linger. I got to see it from him. Maybe he ends up becoming a first-time champion. It'd be great. It'd be really nice. Get a big monkey off his back for all the narrative that goes around him and what he wins and what he doesn't win. For a guy who's accomplished so much in his golf career. Really gets disrespected in that regard, but you stare him and he's basically the same odds as Scottie Scheffler. And you're like, what the fuck is this? No, to pass. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's, DraftKings, they're better as at the back. They like to,
they are, but they know they're going to take action at 16 to 1 on Xander anyway. So fuck it. We'll just make him 16. It'd be like if Tiger was playing, they'd be like, oh yeah, Tiger's 30 to 1 when he should be 300,000 to 1 or something to win the U.S. Open. People be like, yeah, 30 to 1, Tiger Woods. I'll bet that. Okay. And they're like, what do we care? You're betting. So they don't need to entice you with a number on Xander. People will just bet it.
And I have yet to make a bet on anybody under 30 to 1.
Me either. Week. I have my 2 bets in. Everyone knows about Sung Jae, and I'm not happy about that. Yeah. I was glad not to hear one of the names come out of his mouth, though, as probably my strongest play this week. I really like it, and we'll get to that in a second. But the rest of this, 20 to 30, Cantlay, Smith, Spieth, DJ, Fitzpatrick, Zalatoris, Morikawa. Morikawa very cursed, but I want to see where that number goes because that feels like another one that gets to 40 by the end of the week. Zalatoris at 30, I think that's a pretty good number. We know how well he plays in major championships. The U.S. Open is very much built for him. I mean, it's going to come down to putting. He putted well at Augusta. He putted well at the PGA Championship. For as bad as his stroke looks, when he gets to these major championships, he's not losing 7 strokes on the green. These are very tiny greens, which may mitigate putting a little bit anyway. He hits it long. He hits it straight. You're looking for that like Bush League Dustin Johnson, but with a really good short game. That's Will Z right now, and 30-1 still a pretty respectable number. Other than him, Spieth is the one who has the most attention for me.
So I have bet Zalatoris. I bet it a few weeks ago at 34-1. Pretty much the morning after losing the U.S. Open or the PGA. I said I have to go back in the pool. Like I have to. I'm not mentally strong enough to not. So we're back in that pool. For me, documented, booked it, Willie Z. I don't mind Spieth. Him and Cam Smith are the only players who, I mean, Morikawa with his irons, I guess, but I have to trust that your wizardry ability can overcome anything. So they always stay alive for me.
I would say
Spieth at 28 might be the best, like true value bet under 30-1, like bang for your buck wager under 30-1. I can say that at 28-1 over at DraftKings.
The difference is between Spieth and Smith at the moment. We saw this really plague Cam Smith round 1 at the Canadian Open, is that when there are certain courses where he can drive it wherever he wants and he can use his magic beans to get out of trouble. We seen him behind trees at Augusta, but he's hitting off the pine straw. When you get into this thick rough, the game changes for him a little bit. And that doesn't mean he can't do it. It just feels like the degree of difficulty is ratcheted up because he's so inconsistent with his driver. What have we seen from Spieth over the past 3 months? Dude knows how to drive the ball again. This is great.
You can bet Spieth. You can bet Morikawa blind at those current numbers and just bank on the putting wheel landing in your favor. And you're sitting with a heater on Sunday.
Yeah.
I couldn't besmirch those decisions for a moment. I picked on Cam Smith as an elite player last week. I was kind of annoyed he made it on the number. So I do see what you're saying. I thought that being a little sideways would cause him trouble as it did early. So he's a guy I'm not looking to bet. I'm not going to go as far to say I'm fading Cam Smith, but I'm pretty certain I will not be betting him. And I agree. Spieth tee to green. It's been immaculate. The putter comes around. It's a big problem. It's a big problem for everybody.
Yeah, the driving has been relatively consistent. He's gained strokes in every tournament since. I mean, Farmers was a bad event for him. He lost across the board in his one round that was weighted at the Farmers. Since then, he had the second at Pebble Beach the next week, and then we were off to 2 weeks later, we were off to the races, and it's been 10 tournaments or 12 tournaments since for him. He's gained off the tee in every single event outside of one. That was the Players' Championship, and that's a really weird stats week because one bad drive gives you a huge negative. He lost on approach for the first time since the Farmers at the Memorial, where he was actually bad with his irons, which is not great news, but great around the greens, but he finally got the putter back going. So I'm willing to give him some leeway that the approach is going to be really good if he can just keep that putter like... He was bad at putting for like a 3-month stretch. That seems to be coming out of it. Everything else remains the same, and he can putt just a little bit. I don't need the Magic Beans 11 strokes game putting week. Give me 3 strokes game putting for this week, and don't miss like 4 footers for par, which has really been his Achilles heel throughout the course of the season. It's not the 40 footers, it's the 3 footers. Almost like we saw with Rory on Sunday, where just make those 2-3 footers, and all of a sudden there's nothing. Like Tim kind of alluded to now. Dude shot 62. It should have been a 60, but this is just where we ended up when you start missing some of these short putts. That I think Spieth rates out really well, and he's a former U.S. Open winner. He's played himself back to being one of the elite players in the world. It does, as you mentioned, seem like a really good price.
Yeah. Under 30-1, probably the most fair bet you can make. And I'm silly enough to like be looking at losers like a Xander or a guy who doesn't win, who's never won anything in Willie Z. Well, the answer could be right in front of you with Spieth and Morikawa, who you're kind of just waiting for it to flip on. Cantley, though, Pat, do you think there could be like a hate, a boost, really popular major pick, really kind of kick people in the nuts, including me, forgotten how because other things went well at the PGA, but could that be one that gets higher? Or...
I don't really know what's going on with Cantlay at the moment. I didn't expect this number to be where it is right now. So I thought it was interesting and curious that he opened up at 20-1. What is he at around the board? 25-1. You can get a 26-1. Can't lay 27-1. So DraftKings has him the lowest of all. So I think on DraftKings at least he'll fade back into that territory. But what incentive does anyone have to bet Patrick Cantlay right now? The narrative around him is that he plays awful in big tournaments. But when you look at his recent form coming in, a second at the Heritage, a win at the Zurich, a third at the Memorial. Pretty fantastic stuff. What has he done when he hasn't played well? Missed the cut at the PGA Championship, 39th at the Masters, missed the cut at the Players. When it gets to prime time golf, the narrative now around him, it's not the narrative, it's the results that we've seen, but it's a recency bias that's baked into it as well, that people just don't want to back him at this point. He is going to be the forgotten man. So yeah, I do think that you might be able to catch a 30 by the end of the week, but most definitely a 28.
Yeah, so that's something I am like. He doesn't have. He hasn't been crossed off my list at all.
He has. Yeah, he has for me. What are you doing betting Cantlay?
I don't know. Boring golf. Boring golf. I think could really work for him this week.
Sure, but you could bet Scheffler at like not even half the odds, who's way better.
Well, no, because I'm talking about like finding a Pete Cantlay, not this 20 curmudgeon. That's
all right. Well, let's say you get a 30. I mean, you'll probably be able to get at least an 18 on Scheffler by the end of the week. That's still not even half.
Yeah, those are decisions. I love the buffet.
Well,
and this ain't no Mandarin. There's only limited selection. It's like a nice buffet.
let's go to 35 to 60 because I think this is going to be the range. Obviously, we bet Sung Jae Im. We got him at 66 to 1 about 2 weeks ago. The other bet that I have made already this week is in this range. Jeffrey, I wrote it up in the newsletter so people are privy to what it is. I hadn't pulled the trigger. I saw a boost this morning that gave me 40 to 1. So officially on the card for Pat Mayo, Shane Lowry 40 to 1 with 8 places as a part of the each way as well. I know he won the Open Championship in his, well, not in his home country, but in Northern Ireland, him being Irish. But the U.S. Open just seems geared for exactly what he does well. Like, he's very long off the tee. He's relatively straight. He's great at scrambling. He can hit it out of the thick rough. He can get hot and cold with the putter. I like him on these POA surfaces. He's played well in the Northeast. Remember at Oakmont, he was the one who was winning most of that U.S. Open that DJ ended up winning. So I like him a lot. No one has played better this year, I think, without winning than Shane Lowry. Feels like the time is coming. I'm not going to get away from him here. He actually played quite well in Canada as well. He just it wasn't his week. He just didn't putt well.
I'm still seeing a 38. Again, the boring golf, I think, can work perfectly for him. If it gets hairy, I think it works perfectly him. I think both the Irishmen will have plenty of support out there in Boston this week. You sort of hit on it. Maybe the most consistent guy this year who hasn't won time and time again. You play that with the each way. I could sing his praises for the next 4 minutes. I like that pick a lot. I'm staring at a 38, which I might need to take because it seems like the market is moving quite fast on him if he's someone you're interested in. Sam Burns, 35, Pat. Big event, small event, birdie fest, grind fest. Guy just exudes natural born winner. Like, he exudes it. For me, a guy I don't really bet a lot. I talk about and I sing his praises. 35 to 1, kind of swimming around that. He makes so many birdies. He's probably top 3 in birdies per round on the PGA Tour. There will be bogeys out there this week, but it's the type of guys like your Sam Burnses, your Niemans, even your Hovlands that, like, I'm just such a slut for the guy that's like, yeah, there'll be bogeys. Everyone's going to make them. But these guys are also going to take that hole, that's the hardest or second hardest of the day, and stick it to 7 feet and make a birdie. That flips them 2 strokes on the field. So those are guys that I am certainly swimming around in this region. I've bet Tony Finau 50 to 1.
No, of course
I bet it proudly.
Yeah, of course you did. You took the placement points with that, right?
Oh, fuck that.
All right, so it's a losing bet.
Ride or die. I don't give a shit. Buddy, you know how much I'll stay on script. I'm always prepared to lose money. I'll stay on script and lose it, though. I'll lose a lot of money. I don't give a shit. But I'm going to stay fucking on script doing it. Like, you're going to fit a profile, and I'm going to like you. And then it makes it easy.
Well, the profile that you selected are guys who don't win. You should bet Burns. Burns is the guy you should bet.
Yeah, whatever.
Did you get disconnected? Oh yeah, there you go. That's a freeze frame if there ever was one.
That is
Looking
one hell
good
of a
there,
freeze
Jeff.
frame.
Disrespected. What?
You froze on us. Don't worry, we were making some jokes at your expense. Okay, here is the thing that I'm looking at here, and you really want to shop this around if you want to get the right numbers on these guys. Here's this entire range of players that we're talking about, and you give me a quick yes or no. Don't need the follow-up commentary, and then we'll circle back to the yeses, okay? Sam Burns, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes for me. Shane Lowry, obviously yes, I bet him.
Yes.
Berger, yes.
Yes.
Hovland, no.
Pains to say it, but no, because there's just thickness.
Finau, no.
Yes.
Those are all the 35-1 guys. Now we're into the 40s. Hideki, yes.
Yes.
Brooks, no.
No times a quadrillion.
I don't know about that. It still terrifies me, but no is the answer. Sung Jae.
No, I'm not terrified. I'm not terrified.
I said no fucking color. You remember
Not
that part?
terrified. Not
Okay.
terrified.
Thanks. Sung Jae, yes.
Love.
Louis, yes.
Not no.
Neiman,
Yes.
no, because of the price. Mito, no.
No.
I wish I had hit that 100 over the weekend. That was a better number. Homa, yes.
Hate the price, yes.
Cameron Young, yes.
What's the number you're seeing?
50.
Yes, we'll talk about it.
Billy Horschel, no.
No.
Corey Connors, yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we like 98% of the people between 35 and 60-1. Let's whittle this down.
Uh-oh.
Lowry is a yes, so my favorites from this range. So I'm probably going to end up getting rid of Hideki, probably getting rid, like Louis' number at 40-1, but you can find better numbers on Louis than 40-1. Trust me on that one. What else do we got here? Billy, I mean, I'm worried about fading Billy because he's playing so well. For me, it really boils down to Berger, Homa, and Cam Young. Those are the three at the very top of my list. And it's 50-1 on Cam Young, 45 on Max Homa, 35 on Berger. Although I'm staring a 60 in the face on Berger. I like that number a lot.
You can get a 60. I was going to say, I could take my shirt off again. I could turn you a 60.
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at the 60 right now.
Homa, I'm so
I would like it
disgusted-
with the placement points, though. That's the thing. All these guys I want with the places.
I'm disgusted I didn't take like the hundreds on Homa.
You'll be okay.
He's just become such a cool grinder that makes birdies, that can get out of situations. I really think he's good for this spot. I'm not betting him at 45-50-1 to win this golf tournament, though. I'm just not.
Really? You have no interest in that whatsoever?
I don't know that I'm interested, but I don't think I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
I'd rather Berger, and I'd probably rather like Hideki and Neiman.
I think that for whatever reason, it's a lot like the Scheffler thing, that Cam Young is just, he's an afterthought now because he shot plus 12 in one round?
Okay, sorry. This could be my fault. I thought we were talking about Homa.
We were talking about Homa. But
Okay.
It seemed like you have talked yourself out of Homa because of the numbers.
Yeah.
On this show, we move on.
Thank you. Sorry. You drive. I sit in the back screaming. I don't know what to make of Cam Young. It was, I guess it's sort of like Mito in that the PGA number has to kind of just be forgotten. And now they're here 45-50 on this number. Cam Young is statistically, he's in some ways perfection. He's as clean a goal.
Oh, maybe if you want to bet this weekend at the Canadian Open, you could have better internet, pal. Figure it out, Jeff. My thing with Cameron Young is going to be that, I mean, you can see the 50 that's up there. I'd probably want the 8 places to go along with it. I'd probably even bite like a 45 if it meant getting the 8 places or the 5 places. But if we talk about the player that we want to have this week, we need to have someone who bombs it off the tee, relatively accurate, and can actually get himself up and down from around the green. I think that brings you down to Neiman and Cam Young. Max Homa fits into that list as well, as those 3 guys are kind of packaged together. Can you pick one of them? I think I would go with Cameron Young. And then Berger's kind of the other way. Berger and Morikawa are very much in the same mold where, I mean, Berger has less distance, but he's more accurate. We saw basically his best irons and putting week like ever for the Memorial. Not ever, but for a while, like putting those 2 things together, that was great to see. And he has 2 top 10 finishes in the U.S. Open in his past 4 starts. So I just don't think he puts himself into a lot of trouble at the U.S. Open. That if the winning score is like -2 or +2, it feels like at that score, Berger will be very much in the mix.
I'm very in on Berger, Pat. Outside of a blip where it appears he was playing injured or through an injury, he truly has been outstanding. And I'm an apologist for the period for which he was injured.
Okay. Matthew Fitzpatrick?
He came into the Memorial, he played Schwab, and then there's no doubt to me he's healthy because he played Schwab Memorial back-to-back and was outstanding at the Memorial. He wouldn't have gone back-to-back that close to a major if he was that hurt.
Hideki got canceled at the Memorial. He got kicked out of the tournament because he was using an illegal club. Good thing, bad thing. Like 40 is a strong number, for especially what this course demands. Hideki does really well, but are we sure he's past his injury?
I'm not sure he's past his injury. I don't know how to confirm it other than a Hideki tracker who follows Japanese media Twitter account. But he profiles very well. Long, straight, can play the board. As great as he is at scoring at birdie parties, he can play the tough stuff incredibly well. He's gotten so much sharper around the greens. 40-1 screams the most disrespected elite in this field betting-wise.
No, I mean, when Morikawa gets to 40-1, it's going to be him, but he's cursed, so who knows at this
Fair.
point.
No, you're right. And the Morikawa 30, I mean, just imagine talking about that like last August.
It's going to be higher. It's going to be higher by Wednesday. It's probably going to be 40-1.
So then Hovland could get to 50 because there's chipping required here.
Yeah, I'd rather bet Morikawa at 40 than Hovland at 50.
No, I agree. I'm not here to play that game. For this setup, I do agree. I lean Morikawa having to pick between those 2, which isn't the job.
So who do you actually think you're going to bet? Because I think I'm going to bet, I mean, Lowry I have bet, so that's in at 40-1. Berger and Cam Young are probably going to be that Berger 60 is such a good number.
I've bet Berger 60. I even took a small piece of Berger 80 that sat out there on a bet boost last week, and I wish it was bigger. So I'm doubled up Berger bet 60 for me. So I have bet Daniel Berger. I have bet Sung JM, and I am swimming around that Lowry Burns situation, Pat.
Would you bet Sung Jae at 45-1 with it currently, knowing what you know now, if you did not have the bet in?
Say that again.
Would you bet Sung Jae currently, today, right now, at 45-1, knowing what you know now? Or would you feel bad that you missed it at 66 or 80 or whatever people got it at? Because I don't think you should play that game at majors. You either got the really good number or you didn't. You're not faced with that decision anymore. You're faced with the numbers that are currently in front of you. And I think all things being equal, I probably would back Sung Jae at 45. I really like Sung Jae this week, although this most ANDERCURSED news does not bode well for his chances.
I agree. I would probably back Sung Jae because I do believe it's setting up. I use the word perfect, so I can't back off it. He would be on my top 3 to win, I think. So, like Tim. So, yeah, he would make my card.
So I'm trying to probably get 4 or 5 guys on my betting card right now, and I don't really want to go into a range lower than this. I know we mentioned Connors. I feel like Connors is a good top 10 bet. I don't know if he can win.
I only have 2 long shots that I'm willing to make, and they're more for FOMO purposes. But I agree on your Connors assessment.
Is there anyone
and
else?
I do think the track suits him very, very, very well. And I expect to see him on TV on the weekend.
I do appreciate we made it this far without talking about the 2013 U.S. Amateur that was held at the Country Club that Matthew Fitzpatrick won and Corey Connors came third in. If you want to find out the entire field, the results, I have that all in my article up on DKNation.com right now. And that's also just hit the hot link in the newsletter. You'll find it right away. Should we talk about Louis? Should we talk about the LIV guys? Because Dustin's, I mean, you can get Dustin as deep as 50-1 at this point in some spots, and just no one's going to bet any of these guys. Louis is actually the one that I have the most confidence in playing well in.
I would agree. If there's one I'm betting, it is Louis. But I feel like there's a lot of blind LIV, like just auto fade.
Agreed.
Just blind fade them all.
I completely agree, and I mean, he won a cool chunk of money over the weekend, or at least on Saturday. He's a part of that team with Charles Schwartzel. They got paid out.
Yeah, listen, if you want to bet on Louis, I think you're just encouraged that he got a little warm-up event in. Like, I think you could look at a nice little 54-hole warm-up in before the U.S. Open. Haven't his approach stats been horrendous this year, though, Pat?
Hey, here's the thing about LIV Golf. They don't tell us that.
No, but I'm talking about Louis' PGA Tour approach stats.
Yeah, he was not great. Not great for old Louis.
I just remember betting him at the Honda where he led the field in birdies but made like 4 triples.
Yeah, he actually lost on approach that week too. Lost 5 strokes on approach. He's been pretty neutral at the PGA. He was, pushed with the field, came in 60th. It's the putting. Like, he's been a horrible on the greens this year, which is a diametric flip from what's been like the past 2 years. Shocking that putting can do that.
Yeah, and he just wants to be on his farm. So he's going to take that LIV money.
But the driving and the around the green have been superb all year. Like, that hasn't been an issue for him at all. And that's kind of what you want here. And hopefully the rest comes along with it. So what's the best number you see on Louis right now?
75.
I see the 75. If you want to boost that up.
And you could probably get that higher on an enhanced.
Yeah, the enhanced on that would be, let's see here, Louis, where are you at? Louis with the enhancement is 85-1. I mean, that's not horrible. And that's not
I
even
saw Rose was 100 yesterday.
Oh,
and
listen,
now he's
don't
60.
Listen, if Justin Rose makes me look stupid this week, that's fine. Don't ride the waves of the almost 59. Trust me, with Justin Rose.
The irons were unconscious, but yeah, I'm not here to bet Justin Rose to be a 2-time U.S. Open champion. But I think it was a nice side story to the week that a veteran came out and did that, and he made for great TV and showed us the holes, as we love to see. So,
hey, nothing I enjoy more than the rabbit that goes out on the course, shows us where you need to be on every single hole, so when the leaders get there, you're familiar with the course. I think it's some of the best.
Rory was in that bunker on 16 and had the exact same par putt on 16 that we saw Rose have.
No, it's great storytelling by the broadcaster. I wish that they would do it every week, that we could see that, but they just don't.
And I know while we're sticking in front of 100, I was watching you or something you wrote up. I took in a lot of your content, all great stuff. Find it, smash it.
Smash it.
Abraham Answer is a bit of a fancy tickle in your eye, maybe not for a bet.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to do to him. So let's move to just the over 60 range right now. I think that's the way that we want to play it. As Tim kind of pointed out, that you don't see many guys from down in this range end up winning. Like, Woodland at 80 was a real outlier based on what we've seen. Even when you go back to Keimer, it's not like Keimer was like 300-1. I think he was like 40-1 when he won. You got him at the big number because you had a pinata, but his actual odds were much less than that, coming off winning a Players' Championship. So when we talk about the 60-plus range, Answer Davis Riley, but I think I can't believe I'm saying this. Paul's going to love it. I think Keegan Bradley at 80-1 is a good bet. He's been playing great. Okay. And he loves
Northeast.
Northeast loves a good hard course. The putting has come alive. And when's the last time that we saw Keegan win anything? Oh, it was in the Northeast in the FedEx Cup playoffs with a deep rough, a difficult event. I just like when we talk about total driving, he's 80-1 right now. So is Abraham Answer, by the way. So is Davis Riley. They're all in that range. I think Keegan profiles really well for this course.
The winning score allows me to think it's possible based on his skill set and if he can play fantastic and not gag it, I guess.
Keegan
Northeast
Bradley.
golf is a thing. It's a real thing. They're guys with incredible Northeast track records.
By my numbers over the past 24 rounds, Keegan is by far like the lowest down the board of guys inside the top 10. My top 10, and you saw this if you watched the research show, which I recommend that you all go watch on Mayo Media Network. Subscribe and get those ballots into the giveaway as well. Just boop, easy. Look, I just did it on my phone. You can do it too. Xander, Lowry, Fitz, Finau, Mito are the top 5. Rory, Scheffler, Keegan, Justin Thomas, Sam Burns are the rest of the top 10. And he's 80-1, and no one else is higher than 45-1. Sounds good. Sounds like good value.
Yeah. I mean, take all the placings they'll give you, folks.
Oh, 100%. 100% on that.
Like every, even pay up. You take them all. Each one of them. Each one of them.
Where are they offering? Yeah, 80-1. Is that with the enhancement? No, it's not even with the enhancement. That's just his regular odds. So, yeah, I'll probably be getting in on that. I mean, I'd wait around. I think he's going to be a relatively not popular bet, but people will be on Keegan this week. I think they'll see the same numbers I do and be in.
I don't disagree. I think he'll be very popular in the DraftKings.
Sure, but that's different. It's like Fitzpatrick is going to be a really popular DraftKings play, although maybe he won't now that Finau has a second place finish, and he's actually lesser priced than Fitzpatrick. Rick and I will talk more about that on Tuesday, but no, like people aren't running to the counter to bet Fitzpatrick to win, but he's like the first click on DraftKings. There is a discrepancy there when it comes down to it, because you have to pick 6 people and fit them into a salary cap on DraftKings, where you can just say, I don't feel like betting Keegan because he's probably not going to win.
No, that makes total sense, and I totally get why people want to roster Matthew Fitzpatrick. And we're going to the only course in America, Pat, on American soil, in which the strengths of his game didn't abandon him when he was contending.
Cool.
It's the only place on Earth, so maybe he'll do it again.
Not on Earth, because he's done well at anything named the Masters over in Europe. Like, how dare you disrespect the Nordia Masters?
That's very, what do you call it? Like, just pretentious, like American. Well, I'm not even American, but like only American events matter. No, you're right. I meant American soil. It's the only place in America where the strengths of his game didn't abandon him while contending.
I will give you. Let's see if I can guess your plays from this range. Fleetwood and Harold Varner.
Fleetwood only. There's no Fowlers to bet. Fleetwood.
Exceptional, I think, is where you're going. Listen, I'm telling you, man, you got bad internet because you lost all your money betting Tommy Fleetwood.
Fuck. No, I think I'm back.
You're back. I can hear you, so keep selling me on Fleetwood. I'm not going to buy it, but I want to hear your spiel.
I've had to pull the plug on this thing a couple times. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's okay. We're back. You can keep talking. Like it's like when the you're like when the Jehovah's Witness come to my door. I don't slam the door in their face. I listen to their spiel. I don't convert, but I want to hear the pitch. Very
consistent U.S. Open track record. The U.S. Open courses seem to suit him well. He's been much improved off the tee, and it seems like he finds just enough around the greens to hang in for a lot of these big tournaments. The win would probably be a huge ask, but yeah, Finau, Fleetwood, those are like 2 easy FOMO bets for me that can come at north of 50-1.
Let's see. Proven U.S. Open track record by coming 50th, miscut 65th in the past 3 U.S. Open. So you're pretty on point with that. And has lost off the tee in 2 of his past 4 starts. Was 5th at the PGA Championship, though. So he hits a lot of like guys that you almost need someone who's come inside the top 10 of one of the first 2 majors at the U.S. Open. That generally does track pretty well. So that's a positive. Did we lose him again, or is he just speechless?
No, he's contended at a handful of U.S. Opens.
2, sure. I remember I had all the money on him at Aaron Hills, and he fucking blew it.
Well, it was the putt at Shinnecock that bothers me.
Dude shot 63 on Sunday. Like, you're going to have to live with
that. I'm still allowed to be mad he missed a 6 fucking footer to force a playoff,
It was not a 6-footer. It was like a 23. It was like a 23-footer that came up an inch short.
Shut up.
It was up the hill.
No,
up
dead
the hill.
wrong.
It's up the hill. Up the hill.
Dead wrong.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Inside
I'm so mad my
Inside
guy
10 feet.
tied the U.S. Open record on
Inside
a day
10
to
feet.
come back.
Inside 10 feet.
Oh, okay,
He was inside 10 feet.
I'll give
Am I
you.
not allowed?
I'll give
No,
you.
sorry.
I'll give you 8
You're not-
feet to
am
shoot
I allowed
fucking
to be mad DJ 3-putted at Chambers, or I should get over that too?
Well, I
Should
mean, the
get
guy
over that
didn't.
too?
The putt wasn't for fucking 62 at the U.S. Open.
It was a 6-footer after he just came to the hole shooting a 58.
It's like the Rory thing on Sunday. You can't get mad that he misses a few 3-footers when he's chipping
When
in.
it's the
when he's
18th
chi-
fucking
when he's chipping
green,
in,
you're allowed to
when
be
you're-
mad.
When you're chipping in from off the fucking green, making 50-footers from across the green.
When you're
the
allowed-
shit,
listen.
shit is gonna level out. I think it's time
I'm
you get
allowed to
over it
lament
that the
him
guy who shot
missing-
63 fucking didn't get there.
Okay.
Didn't get there
yeah,
on
yeah.
Sunday.
You'll cut this up to make you look like a genius. The guy missed an 8-footer that could have forced a playoff. He played an incredible round of golf, an all-time historic round of golf on the final.
Oh, that's just poor timing. Maybe
To lament
if he had
it.
made the
I'm allowed
putt,
to lament Ricky's putts he missed coming second to Patrick Reed too. It's because what I'm gonna do.
I think that's a weird thing to be mad about, that he missed that putt when he shot 63 on the day.
I don't know. When you love a guy, want to see him win a major, you're allowed to be mad that he missed the one putt that could have set that up.
Well, it'd be nice if he got himself back in contention to try to do that.
Maybe
Okay.
this week can do it.
All right,
I
okay.
don't know.
So I'm not buying on Tommy Fleetwood this week.
All right. I'm just going to bet triple on Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay. I mean, does that mean you're going to have even worse internet next week?
No, I can. The internet's got nothing to do with what I can afford, but something's going on here.
All right. So Keegan for me. I'm looking at Munoz, Seamus Power, and of course, Liston Siwoo.
Let's bet Keegan versus Tommy.
Sure. How much you want to bet?
I don't.
$100. We'll do $100.
Sure.
In Paul, yes.
Can I get some?
Yeah, do you want to make
Sure.
a bet with Paul as well?
Sure.
All right, Paul, you and I against Jeff on this one. Keegan versus Fleetwood.
And we could be out of here quick. There's only two guys north of 100 to 1 I'm going to bet on, and they're both FOMO players.
List and Siwoo?
Close. List and Gary.
Oh, Gary, I think you can make a more compelling case than Fleetwood because you're getting like reasonable odds on Woodland. Fleetwood being Fleetwood, you just don't get good odds on. It's like Finau. Finau has been playing much better, obviously, after his early season struggles, but all of a sudden he's the same number as fucking Morikawa. There are certain guys. It was like Fowler. Whenever Fowler would play well, like we talked about this with Hideki versus Fowler, where Hideki was probably better, and you always just get better numbers on him because people like Ricky. People like Fleetwood. Not entirely sure why, since all he does is lose people money, but people really like him. Where Gary, you can get for like almost triple his odds. 150
I like
to
them
1?
both. I like them both. And the fun part about it is it's a buffet of losers for me.
Yeah, you need to get someone at the top of the board who can win here.
I bet plenty at the...
You said you were going to bet Xander and Cantlay.
No, I didn't. I said I haven't crossed them off yet. And
Oh.
I'm the weirdo who looks at them.
What is Siwoo's number? I didn't even see him. It's gonna
Well,
be...
he was between List and Gary as I was just scrolling it.
Yeah, they're both. They're all three of them are 150 to 1. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's where I shall lose my money on List and Siwoo. Get those placements, and I might go Gary with you too. Munoz is just playing really well. I like him.
I don't mind.
I like him at a nice hard track.
I don't mind him at all.
Did you consider your boy Seamus Power at all?
No, but I don't. I think it sets up for a very nice Team Ireland weekend. There.
He was bad at the Memorial. He got cut, but he lost 4 strokes putting in 2 rounds. Very atypical of Seamus Power. 9th at the PGA Championship, 27th at the Masters, 33rd at the Players. He's handling these big time events really well.
I'm here. You didn't lose me. It's not Canada internet.
I have
just
Canada
nodding.
internet. My internet's fine. Got that hard wire. That's what you need.
Dude. If it wouldn't take me so long to hobble over, I would have pulled the goddamn plug.
Well, we don't need you to pull the cord. That'd be even worse. Now,
Well, that's what I didn't want to do.
Are you doing the thing? And I do have to ask you this because I've made this mistake before, like when I go to an auxiliary location and plug myself in. You have to turn your Wi-Fi off on your computer, or else it will just default to the Wi-Fi a lot of the times. Don't do that now because I don't want to lose you, but just as future reference.
Yeah, it could be a problem. We're talking about Siwoo. Now I'm just spinning.
Is there anyone else you want to talk about from up here? Because I think we talked about the guys that we want to talk about.
No. I don't even know. How did I saw a lady won the mixed event that Norin was like an 8-1 favorite. Did he play half decent?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me neither.
I listen, I'm not going to bet Norin. I do like him for DraftKings, though, especially after he burned everyone at the PGA Championship. Usually a good time to jump on someone from a DraftKings perspective.
Okay, what about like an Adam Scott 130?
I'd rather Reed. Reed, I would take at 130 just for the hilariousness of it all.
Yeah, the future lives. And I did say that I was going to be really tempted, regardless how Bryson's first start went. I was going to be really tempted to bet him in his second start. We're going to have to like rewind that. I'm not betting Bryson. And it's got nothing to do with LIV. I don't care. Although I am seeing 140 to 1 somewhere.
That's not bad. The Davis Riley 80, I think you're going to be able to do better on that. I'm iffy right around that number. Like Keegan, I'll be in on for sure at 80. Riley, I could be potentially talked into it. So I have a lot to figure out throughout the course of the week. I'll be back with Tambo live on Wednesday, 12 Eastern time on Mayo Media Network, noon Eastern. Have a lunch break. Come tune in, and I'll have all the final bets in there. And I'll be updating the newsletter every single night as well with a lot of these if I make new decisions on everything. But let's recap for the peoples out there, the quick picks and one-and-done selections for the U.S. Open. Jeff, who are you going with?
Okay, so I've got that like Rahm exotic double. That's the only bet I've made under 30 to 1. I'm still looking at it. Maybe Spieth, maybe Xander. Yeah, that's where I'm looking. But it's really those guys that have never won anything above 30 to 1 that have my...
They have your attention. Okay, so we'll get back to
swimming
you.
around those.
Yeah, we'll get back to you in a second about the guys you have actually locked in. I have locked in Sung Jae, 66 to 1 with the top 5 each way. Shane Lowry, 40 to 1 with the top 8 each way. As we were talking, I locked in Keegan Bradley, 80 to 1 with the top 8 each way. I am going to bet Scotty Scheffler this week. I'm just going to wait and see what number. I don't think it gets worse from here on out, so I will wait until later in the week to officially get my money in on that. I got the Rory double, the second leg of that going on. So listen, if Rory wins, I'm going to be a happy fella, and I'm going to circle Berger, Cam Young, Spieth, Munoz, List, Siwoo, Woodland, like those guys. Probably get 2 of those when the final card ends up coming out, and those guys are pretty far down the list. The Berger 60, I might go bet that after we're done because that's just a really good number. I don't like that I won't get the placements on it, but that 60 is by far the best market number. It's pretty cool to bet on Daniel Berger sometimes when you see him lingering out there at a 60 to 1. So officially, what do you have money on so far?
Officially, I've got my Rahm double. I've got Willie Zalatoris 34. I've got Sung J.M. 66. I've got Daniel Berger and a bit of an 80 on him. I've got on the boost Berger 60, 80, Finau 50. So, yeah, I'm expecting to make a move short of 30 to 1 to probably round out my card. Bombs, List, Woodland. Boom!
Tim's picks for the week. The 3 guys who cannot win, Rory, Louis, and Webb. They're dead money, apparently. Mito Pereira is his 3rd pick. Number 2 pick, Colin Morikawa. And the most cursed player, which Jeff and I do not like to see, Sung Jae Im for the U.S. Open. He is taking Morikawa in the one and done. I am taking Scotty Scheffler. Finally, who are you taking?
Oh, it's a great question. I don't even know who I have.
You give me guys that you want to pick, and I'll tell you if you've used them or not.
Jon Rahm.
Jon Rahm has... Yes, you used him at the Players' Championship for $46,000.
I haven't used good play. Give me Sam Burns.
Sam Burns has not been used by you. Sammy Burns for Geoff Fienberg. Go ahead.
I'm going to apologize if I'm sorry about my internet. So for that, you've made it this far. I'm going to give away like a sweet Herbert rookie this week. You've got to do what Pat tells you got to do to win it, though.
You're throwing that into the pile of the giveaway? So, yeah, you want a Herbert rookie? That's not bad. That's very generous of Geoff. So I'm already in for $400. He's got a Herbert rookie, and we'll keep adding to that if you rate and review the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast and subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So please go do that. All the instructions down in the description. If you hit the newsletter, you can find out what's worth the most in terms of ballots. But you retweet anything, that's one right away. You retweet it 100 times, it's 100 ballots. Get us out in front of people. Sub to the newsletter, that's 5. Sub to the network, that's 5 as well. And you can catch Geoff all throughout the week. Do you have any live shows throughout the week? You do for BetSperts, right?
Do I have any what?
Live shows.
I'm going live with the boys at BetSperts on Tuesday morning, and I got a video coming out with Rick from Odds Checker and a video coming out with Joe for Odds Checker, and we'll be live for a Cut Sweat on Friday.
We will. We're doing that Twitter Spaces, by the way. So we're going to do it through Twitter Spaces. You can watch it on YouTube as well. I think we figured out a way to mesh those two together, but it makes it way easier for us. You don't need to move your equipment anywhere, Geoff. You just need to talk into your phone.
And we can get guests.
Yeah.
Or like just listeners.
Yeah, viewers of the show, they can tune in if they're on the Twitter Spaces as well. I thought it worked out really well when we did the Twitter Spaces for LIV, although just Wiley came on and talked the entire time. But hey, if Wiley wants to come on this one and talk the entire time, I'm all for it. I love Matt Wiley. Listen to Golflandia, by the way. Listen to the Fantasy Golf Degenerates with Tambo and Kenny. That's already out. I'll be back with Rick Gaiman on Tuesday night, player by player, breaking down this entire field. He's there, so we'll have some insights on that. And then noon Eastern time, Wednesday, Tambo in studio with me, taking your questions, final picks, final weather, final ownership projections, and the DraftKings picks finalized for the week. Hope you all enter the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. Hope you all do those giveaway list of things that I have laid out to do. Hope you subscribe to the newsletter. Most of all, I hope you win some cash this week, and I hope you enjoyed your time. Maybe we can all get a winner together. That would be great. Wish Tim a happy birthday on the way out, too. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.